Hello, it's Gemma again. Day 2 of my vegan, well, not really an experiment, but day 2 of being fully vegan. And I was sitting there this morning trying to think, what am I going to talk about today? Because I had some ideas. I could talk about why, particularly veganism for me, why that's something that I think should be in my life. But then I had a little surprise in the mail. So I'm going to talk instead about the dreaded flow. Shark week, period, monthly, whatever you want to call it. That time of the month. Now, any men watching, I'm sorry, you might want to turn this video off, or you might not. You might be open-minded. You might want to listen and understand more. Good on you if you do. The thing is about periods is that we can't stop them. We can't make them go away. We can't control them. So I'm trying desperately to keep my cat off camera because he's trying very, very hard to get in the shot, but he's settling down now. Okay, good. Anyway, we can't stop them. We can take various pills and potions to put a hold on it to keep it within manageable bounds, but we can't ever stop it. The only way you can stop it is to have a hysterectomy or an oophorectomy, which is removal of the ovaries, and that's kind of extreme just to stop a period. So, why am I talking about this? Because part for me of being a vegan is particularly the environmental side of it. There is so much that happens in our world that we can control. We can control whether or not we eat meat, which is destroying rainforests, which is, it's all these other things. It's completely raping our planet. We can control what we throw away, what we keep, what we use, what we recycle, what we buy. And for this reason, the main reason I wanted to talk about menstruation today was because I got this lovely little package. Actually, it was in a box, but I put it in its little bag, which is the devil to open. And some of you may have this already, but if you don't, this is a great invention. It's called a Diva Cup. Now, you can get various types. There's one in the UK called Moon Cup, and I think Moon Cup you can also get US versions of as well now. This is silicone. So no latex allergies, no, it's fairly hypoallergenic. But you can also get a silicone rubber one called the Keeper, which I will put links down below in the description box to various places where you can get these and where you can get some more information about what exactly they are, how they work, etc., etc. I had one of these years ago and lost it during my various moves from one house to another. It went missing and I just never bothered to replace it, and I just went back. I was lazy. I went back to using tampons. And I wish I hadn't, because this is a wonderful, wonderful invention. And what you do is you take your cup, you fold it like that. So fold it like that. Fold it in half again. So now it should look like that. And then you insert it. Pardon my crude insertion there. So why is this good? Well, for starters, it's reusable. So you're not filling up landfills with tampons, pads, applicators, etc., etc., and you're not having to buy that stuff every month. Because that's something that really galls me is, if I'm going to be completely blunt, if men had periods, tampons would be free. That's my opinion anyway. With the current state of how things are, I think that if men had periods, tampons would be free. But instead, we go to the grocery store or Walmart or the chemist or wherever, and we pay upwards of $10 for a box of tampons that might only last us one cycle. And then we've got to go and do that again next month. And I always got around it by buying the big bulk packs because they last me a couple of cycles. But they're like $15. So assuming that, like any average woman, your cycle varies between heavy and light, you can't just buy one $15 box of, say, super tampons. You need to buy some light flow ones and maybe some extremely light flow ones. And that's, if you buy those in bulk boxes, all of them, that's $45 on tampons. Now that completely boggles my mind. That just completely boggles my mind that we have to spend that kind of money, except we don't, because we can get one of these. And these are about $30, but they pay for themselves fairly quickly. Because you won't be buying pads, you won't be buying tampons, you'll just be using this. And this holds, I think, let me have a look inside. I think it holds about 3/4 of an ounce or an ounce of liquid. Now, when you consider that in the entire context of her period, a woman only loses 2 to 4 ounces of blood total. So you're not going to, unless you have an extremely heavy flow, you're not going to be changing it every 5 minutes like you might be with tampons. And basically, when you're done, when you need to change it, you grasp the bottom bit here and kind of squeeze it, which breaks the seal that it's formed with your skin. Take it out, pour it down the loo, rinse it out, or if you're in a public toilet, just wipe it out with a bit of toilet paper. Reinsert and you're done. You don't have to worry about carrying tampons with you. You don't have to worry about, if you know your period's coming but you're going to be out for the day, and obviously you can't insert a tampon until the period starts, you can insert this before a period starts. So if you're on the pill or whatever, and you know that your period always shows up on this day, blah, 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 then on that morning you can just pop the Diva Cup in and then go about your day, and then later on check it. Oh, my period started. Oh, my period hasn't started. But it's so much more convenient than just worrying all the time and ruined underwear and, oh my God, if I stand up from this seat, is there going to be a huge patch of blood on the seat? We've all been there. We've all had that experience, and it's horrible. And this helps remove some of that. So back to the environmental side, I dug up some statistics. The average woman throws away 250 to 300 pounds of pads, tampons, and applicators in her lifetime. Now, that doesn't sound like much. When you think about it, you think, well, that's in a lifetime. If that was like a year, maybe that would be bad. But when you factor in that there are an average of 150 million women in the USA alone. Now we take that £300, we times that by 150 million. If my maths is correct, we get £45 billion per lifetime. Now the maths might be wrong there because my calculator started throwing out letters and plus signs and weird things like that, and I'm not a mathematician, so that could easily be wrong. Another way to look at it, the average woman uses 240 tampons or pads per year. Assuming she menstruates for 40 years, that's 9,600 pads or tampons during her menstrual years. So if we times that by that 150 million women in the USA alone, it's such a big number my calculator couldn't even answer it. Suddenly it doesn't seem like such a small number because all of that is going into landfills. And tampons and pads use all of these horrible chemicals to make them, I've seen some that are scented. Okay, let's be honest. Periods don't smell great, especially if you're a bit lax about changing your protection. They can be a bit whiffy, but personally, I've never used these scented ones because I don't like the idea of sticking anything artificially scented in such a delicate place on my body. But wouldn't then you just have the smell of a period overlaid with florally, fruity. Ugh, no. To be frank, it's like when somebody's been to the bathroom and had a particularly bad bowel movement and tries to cover it up with air freshener. You just get this horrendous pungent mix that makes you gag. And that's what comes to mind when I think about scented pads and tampons. That's exactly the smell that comes to mind, is this disgusting biological overlaid with fake flowers. And that's just worse than the original smell. And even if you don't get the scented ones, there are bleaches, there are various chemicals and chemically treated materials used to increase absorption, to make them so they're sterile, so they can go up there without causing a problem, etc., etc. And all of that chemicals is not only going in your body, but then when it comes out of your body, it's going in a landfill. So all those chemicals are then leaching out into the soil and potentially affecting the environment. So the answer to that is, if you don't want to use this, is to use maybe cloth pads or something. But if you're anything like me, pads are a no-no. I hate pads. There's something akin to wearing a diaper for me. It's wet, squishy, horrible material pressed up against your body. It smells, they slip, they leak. It's just an unpleasant experience entirely. So for that reason, I try to avoid pads like the plague. But I'm also not fond of tampons, because when you have to wear one overnight, unless you want to go back to the wet squishy diaper theory. Then you have to wear one at night, and then you're constantly worried about, what if I sleep too long? What if I sleep past the 8 hours? I've been known to set alarms to get up in the morning, change my tampon, and go back to bed. Now, that's ridiculous, but you have to, because otherwise you might get TSS. And if you get TSS, you could, we've all heard the horror stories, your toes could rot off, you could die, etc., etc. So you've got no choice, really. And when I first heard about this, when I first heard about the Moon Cup and the Diva Cup and everything else, my first thought was how wonderfully freeing that you can have this product that completely eliminates the risk of TSS, because it doesn't dry you out down there like tampons do, is not disgusting. I mean, okay, yes, for some people it is going to be a bit gnarly at first, pouring away your own menstrual blood, but come on, guys. We've been seeing this blood since we were teenagers. There's nothing icky about it, there's nothing gross. Your hands are perfectly washable. If you get some blood on your hands, inserting or removing it, you can wash. It's not like it's completely indelible, it's never going to come off. That's it, you're branded for life with period blood hands, Just wash your hands, or if you're in a public toilet, wipe the blood off. Open the door with your elbows and go and wash your hands at the sink. It's not. People make it seem, when I talk to people about buying one of these, and I was a very big advocate when I got my first Moon Cup when I was in my early 20s. I was a huge advocate for it. Like, I would not stop telling people, you've got to get a Moon Cup, you've got to get a Moon Cup. And I found that people would throw excuses at me. And the excuse would always be, oh, it's too messy. Oh, it's too much of a pain in the butt to insert. And what they were actually saying was, I don't want to go away from the norm. I don't want to go away from the status quo. I understand pads and tampons. I don't understand this. And it's the issue of not just whipping it out of your body and throwing it away. You actually have to deal with the blood and the bloody cup. And for a lot of people, that's too primal. That's getting too close to what menstruation really is. But I ask you, shouldn't we be getting in touch with what it is? Shouldn't we be becoming more primal and being in touch with our bodies and learning what our bodies need and what our bodies do, rather than keeping it as this separate thing? Oh, I'm a person, but then once a month I'm a person who menstruates, and that means I'm a completely different person. No, you're the same person. And you can't distance yourself from menstruation because it happens. It's going to happen until you have the menopause. And then from what I've heard from talking to women with the menopause, they hate the menopause so much they kind of wish they had the periods again. So you've got to come to terms with this. You've got to make peace with your period. And that sounds like a really weird thing to say, but you've got to make peace with your period. You've got to accept that this happens. This is not shameful or dirty or anything like that. It's just what it is. It's the natural way of your body going through its natural cycles. And that's in itself, it's a beautiful thing, because it's your body working the way your body's supposed to work. And I kind of think we should celebrate that. But that's my opinion anyway. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. They will not all be about periods. Once again, get a Diva Cup. Get a Diva Cup. They're brilliant. And they come in this cute little bag, which I'm sorry, I just think that's adorable. But then I think anything pink's adorable. So yeah, like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me your experiences if you use a moon cup or a Diva Cup or anything like that. Just generally, let's just get some discussion going. Thank you.